Well, good day, everybody. It's Dr. A back in the garden, and I can hardly wait to share some stories from the garden. Because a garden is not just a bunch of plants. A garden is history, it's what you're doing today, it's beauty. But oh, I tell you what, there are so many cool stories from the gardens. Well, today I'm a bit flummoxed. I'm going to talk a little about this really wonderful plant called the black-eyed Susan. Now, the black-eyed Susan is really an annual for most people in this country, and its botanical name is Rudbeckia hirta, Hirta. Many of you know the genus Rudbeckia as a perennial plant, uh, but the one that is called black-eyed Susan is really an annual, and it's very popular. But as my crack team of researchers delved into where this plant gets its name, they kind of came up empty, at least on the Susan part. The black eye, I guess, is kind of like the center of the flower, but it's really actually kind of brown. But so the common name black-eyed Susan, not exactly sure where that came from. We're just expected some wonderful lady named Susan was commemorated. Who knows? However, the story about the black-eyed Susan is not just about the plant itself, but I'm not sure you knew. I didn't know until I first started researching this that the black-eyed Susan is the state flower of the state of Maryland. It's chosen in part because the colors of the flower matched the colors of the state flag. Well, I admit that I really am not up, and certainly was not up, on the colors of all the state flags. When I looked at the state flag of Maryland, the first colors that assailed me were red and white. However, I, being a student of state flags, looked a little harder, and in either corner, two corners, there were black and yellow designs. And these black and yellow designs obviously mirror the black-eyed Susan, and thus that is why, I suppose, it became the state flower of Maryland. And it turns out that these patterns of black and yellow belong to a Mr. George Calvert, the first Lord Baltimore, and reflected his influence founding the colony in 1634. As I mentioned, the common name itself reflects the center of the flower, but we really cannot find who good old Susan was. However, they are native, black-eyed Susans, throughout North America, and certainly including all of the original 13 colonies. And we'll just expect that some wonderful colonist had some wonderful wife named Susan. But not only is it Maryland's state flower, it has another distinction. One of the wonderful horse racing events in this country, one of the premier events, is the Preakness Stakes, run out of Baltimore, Maryland. And the winner of the Preakness Stakes is bedecked with black-eyed Susan because it is called the Run for the Black-eyed Susans. So next time you get some seeds or some plants of black-eyed Susan, stick them in a pasture, stick them in your garden. They're going to reseed, they're going to be lovely. They may not last for a long time, but oh my, they are gorgeous and they have such great stories. The state flag of Maryland, the Preakness Stakes, and some wonderful lady named Susan. Enjoy the story. They are really widely available at garden centers and usually raised from seeds. If you decide to put some in your garden, plant them in full sun. They are a particularly good meadow plant. So if you're thinking of doing a meadow garden, the black-eyed Susans do very, very well. They associate well with almost anything, particularly Sweet Williams, which is a dianthus, and dozens of what I call nativars, cultivars of native plants have been bred, and many choices of colors now await the gardener in the black-eyed Susan. But just enjoy them. Enjoy the plants. Enjoy the ease of propagation and growing. but also enjoy telling the story. The Black-Eyed Susan. I will see you down the garden path. I hope you have enjoyed today's story as much as I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you for listening. For more information and more stories, go to my website, www.alanarmitage.net. If you go to the bookstore, you will see one of my most popular books, Naked Ladies and Forget-Me-Nots, How Plants Get Their Common Names. And another wonderfully popular book is Legends in the Garden. Who in the world is Nellie Stevens? These and other books on the website I think you will enjoy, and I hope you have a chance to take a look at them. Once again, thank you for listening, and I look forward to sharing another story with you next week.